The Redbirds fall in the opener against the Mariners. Which key stat is really giving this Cardinals pitching staff fits in 2023? This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, and make sure you're following us and watching the videos on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when the new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Well, we're doing this thing on a Saturday. How about that? A little Saturday podcast for everyone. Another Cardinals series has begun, and another check in the L column as the team loses in Seattle on Friday night by the score of 5-2. They're now 8-12 on the season. They're in fourth place in the NL Central, 6 games back of first place Milwaukee, 4.5 back in the wild card. They are 11th out of 15 teams in the NL and 22nd out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball. By the way, I want to point this out, the supposed crappy NL Central, as we all thought it was going to be going into this season, and you did too. Don't lie. You thought the NL Central was going to be weak, but as of right now, 3 teams from the NL Central in the top 7 of Major League Baseball right now, record-wise, with the Brewers, Pirates, and the Cubs. Just saying. Things happen, and things are certainly happening to this Cardinals team. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The Cardinals starting pitcher has 1 bad inning, doesn't go past 6 innings. The Cardinals offense vanishes against someone they haven't faced before. And the Cardinals drop the first game of the series. Wash, rinse, repeat. That has been the 2023 season for the Cardinals so far. An endless cycle of mediocrity that continues to be spewed out by this team this year over and over and over again. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. We're all frustrated. I get it. But let's stick to what's going on here. One thing the team did do that was good last night, which usually leads to a victory, is they got on the scoreboard first. Something they haven't done a lot of this year. I believe that makes it 3 straight games that they've taken the lead early on in a game. And I guess that's progress. That's one domino down. That should lead to more wins for this club, who has had to play from behind a lot early in games so far this season. Last night, they go up 2-0 in the second on a 2-run opposite field double by rookie Jordan Walker, who seems to have a little extra jump in his step over the last couple of games after getting a day off. Nice to see Jordan go the other way, obviously, with power off the wall in right field. And for a moment, we had a shimmer. We had a shimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, the Cardinals were going to surprise us in this one, facing a good young right-hander in George Kirby, former first-round pick of the Mariners. This isn't some scrub that they picked up off of waivers that's supposed to be in Double-A or something. This is a good pitcher. But they're seeing him for the first time. We were hoping that perhaps after seeing the early lead, that maybe the struggles against facing guys for the first time might have passed. But not so fast, my friends. The Cardinals offense dried up right away after that hit by Walker. In fact, they didn't get another hit or a base runner until the 6th inning when Alec Burleson singled. And by this point in the game, Matz had already allowed the Mariners to tie things up. But to his credit, Matz pitched a pretty good game until that point. Like, you weren't complaining until the 6th inning rolled around, were you? Bottom of the 6th, though, that's when bad things happen, with the Mariners taking advantage of the generosity of one Steven Matz and perhaps the home plate umpire. Matz walks Julio Rodriguez to start the inning. Gosh, he's a lot of fun to watch, isn't he? All of that was on Matz, though. That particular walk was not throwing strikes there. No big deal. It happens. But with one out and Rodriguez on second, Matz seemingly struck out Eugenio Suarez on a 2-2 pitch in the top of the zone that was not called a strike. Instead, was called a ball. So instead of a runner on second and 2 out, Matz loses Suarez. Now it's 2 on and 1 out, and Matz is out of the game. And they bring in Drew Verhagen, which is fine. I have no problems with doing that because you had right-handers coming up. And you could tell Matz was not thrilled by the fact that not only did he lose Eugenio Suarez by walking him because the last pitch way out of the zone, but the pitch before that, that's a strike. Called it a ball. That sucks. So he's worked up about that too. So Verhagen comes in, and he has a nice little battle here with Teoscar Hernandez. Throws a wild pitch in this at-bat, moving the runners over to second and third, which ends up being huge here in just a moment. And I saw a lot of fans saying things like, oh, Yadi would have had that one. Kind of pooping on Wilson Contreras and his ability to block things behind home plate. And maybe Yadi would have had that one. He might have. But he's not here anymore, you guys. Yadi's gone. And you have to remember how spoiled we were over the years, too. Because Yadier Molina will go down in history as one of the greatest defensive catchers of all time in Major League Baseball. Arguably the greatest. People say Johnny Bench and guys that I didn't get to watch. But for my money, there was nobody better than Yadier Molina over the last 20 years as a catcher. He's one of the greatest of all time. And nobody said that Contreras was going to be as good as Yadi at blocking pitches. Most people aren't. He's one of the greatest of all time. So when you say things like, oh, Yadi would have had that one, that's stupid because it doesn't matter. You're not helping anything by throwing that out there. And nobody said that Wilson was going to be super duper back there behind home plate. That was one of his issues. Not the greatest defensive catcher, known more for his offense and his cannon right arm. But nobody sold you the bill of goods that he was going to be as good as Yadi and block everything like Yadi used to. Nobody really does. And you guys need to start living in the now and not in the past with this because Yadi is retired. The Cardinals didn't jettison him off somewhere. They didn't trade him. They didn't cut him. They didn't make him quit. He retired. He wanted to leave earlier, and they kept talking him out of it to come back. You might as well get mad at Tommy Edman over at shortstop if he misses a ball and say, well, Ozzie would have had that one. That's what it's like because it's no longer relevant. It doesn't matter if Yadi would have blocked that ball anymore because he's not here. He's not in the league. He's not coming back. You have Wilson Contreras now. And what you get offensively is supposed to make up for his defects behind the plate. And he's not a terrible catcher. These pitches were not easy ones to block. Even the people doing play-by-play on MLB last night were like, Contreras didn't even have a chance at that one, man. What do you do there? But it's a big play because now you've got runners at second and third. Verhagen actually strikes out Teoscar Hernandez on a changeup in the dirt. That one also gets through Contreras. And again, this is a wild pitch. They're not like, oh, pass ball. Contreras should have had that. These are wild pitches in the dirt. Okay? They're not easy to get in front of and to block. But because he gets through Contreras and because that previous wild pitch had moved runners up to second and third, first base is now open for Teoscar Hernandez to run to. Because now we can do it because the base is open. And the Cardinals had to worry about because you had the ultra-fast Julio Rodriguez on third base. They're trying to not give up a run. So Verhagen's covering the plate. Contreras is worried about him trying to come in and score. Throws it over to Verhagen, who's standing there at the plate. Julio bluffs, doesn't come home. Hernandez is safe at first. Now we got the bases loaded. So in this cluster, that is the 2023 season so far, you essentially, in this little moment in time, had two strikeouts that instead of counting as outs and ending the inning, instead leads to a bases loaded situation with one out. And of course, the next hitter is going to be AJ Pollock. And when stuff like this happens, that next guy always comes through, and Pollock does. It's 2-run double. Then you get a sac fly from Kelnick, and just like that, it's 5-2, and that's how it ended. And with the Cardinals' offense apparently chloroformed and sleeping by this point of the game, It's over. Another non-quality start by the Cardinals starter and Steven Matz, who's now 0-3. The offense, who I just gave credit to in the last episode and said, hey, look at us. How good we really are. Completely vanishes after the second inning. And the Cardinals lose another series opener this season. And for those of you keeping track at home, that is now 7. 7 of them. They've played 7 series this year. They're 0-7 in the first game of a series. Now, the Cardinals pitching staff has had plenty of issues. We've talked about it. It's well documented. But one spot in particular is really causing some problems. I'm going to tell you what it is next on Locked On Cardinals. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be a stressful thing. In fact, it should be fun. Remember the exhilaration that you get? Like, all right, let me see if I can find some good tickets here. There they are. Perfect. Bing. And you buy them, right? That's the way it works with Gametime. It's fast. It's easy to buy tickets for all things, not just sports. You could we're going to talk about concerts. Concert season coming up as summer gets near. You've got comedy shows, theater, and they've got great deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting excited for the fun you're about to have. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has got deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, and more. The Gametime guarantee means that you're going to get the best price if you find tickets in the same section. This is their guarantee. Same section, same row for less. You find tickets somewhere else, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. 110%. Tickets sent directly to your phone. No more fumbling around, digging through your emails. Get the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code, which is LOCKEDONMLB. Get $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. The Cardinals play at Seattle again tonight. It's a battle of number ones with Miles Mikolas still looking for his first win of the year. Going up against Luis Castillo, undefeated so far at 2-0. You can catch every pitch on the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Everydayers, appreciate you checking in each day. New episode will be available on Monday as we wrap up this Seattle series, and then the team moves on to San Francisco. No days off in between these two, so we'll be talking about the Giants on Monday as well, and hopefully celebrating a Cardinals series victory this weekend. But to do that, the pitching staff is going to have to improve in 2 strike counts. Now, our guy, John Denton, who covers the team for MLB.com, did a whole article on this, and it's something that if you watch the team day in and day out, you realize that they were giving up hits a lot. Just in general, they have, but maybe didn't notice how bad it was when they're actually ahead in 2 strike counts. Because, that's a little thing that not everybody pays attention to, but it's a big deal. Like last night, Steven Matz. I saw people saying, oh, Matz didn't have that great of a night or anything. Yeah, the numbers at the end of it look bad. But leading up to things into that 6th inning, you were pretty darn happy with what was going on. 7 strikeouts in the game, had only given up 2 runs. But if you look closely, you notice that both the home run and the double to Teoscar Hernandez, who, by the way, I got a picture up on YouTube right now. Okay, I like the trident and the helmet thing that the Mariners got going on. That's fun. I feel like the Cardinals are like one of the last teams that doesn't have something like that in the dugout. Maybe they should try to loosen up a little bit. I don't know what the heck they would use. I mean, I know they got the pepper grinder going on. Maybe something with that. I don't know. I don't know what else you could do, but I'm down with the trident and the helmet thing that the Mariners have going on. I think that's great. But hold on. We don't like the Mariners. Let's go back to that. The home run, the double to Teoscar Hernandez came on 2 strike counts. That's bad. The 2 walks in the 6th inning that lead to the implosion of the 6th inning, you guessed it, he had 2 strikes on them as well, and both came around to score. Now, Denton does point out that the Hernandez home run was the 10th home run Cardinals pitchers have surrendered with 2 strikes, second only to the Oakland Athletics, who have given up 12. And we all know the Oakland A's aren't even trying to win baseball games anymore. Yeah, they got a team out there, but the organization as a whole, they're not trying to win baseball games right now. They're more interested in moving to Las Vegas. They're buying land in Las Vegas. That's what their priority is. That's not an issue for the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't going anywhere, except maybe further down in the standings because they keep getting burned in these situations. Jake Woodford has given up 4 home runs with 2 strikes on a hitter. Matz has now given up 3. Denton continues to talk about it, says the 2-strike issues don't end with just long balls, though. The Cardinals came into Friday last in baseball on batting average against 2 strikes at 223. The Athletics are 29th at 211. For comparison's sake, the Cubs, who I told you, one of the top 7 records of baseball right now, came into Friday leading the league in average allowed with 2 strikes at 112. They're not putting guys away. That's a problem. You get ahead of in the count, you got them having to foul things off and worry about where you're going to throw the ball, and they're hitting it, and they're getting hits off of it. And in this piece that Denton has, Marmol says that the biggest contributor to this issue is just pitch location and missing in the zone too much. And I couldn't agree more. It's exactly what's happening. When you see these pitches that are getting rocked all over the yard, they are normally up in the zone and over the plate. They're just not hitting the corners of the dish. That's really the issue. And it's the Cardinals pitchers aren't aiming for that. They're just missing. They're not executing. And it's leading to these crooked number innings that continue to haunt this team. In just about every game, you could point to one inning and just go, there it is. That's where it all went haywire. Denton got this quote from Matz about the situation, who said, with me, I think it just comes down to me trying to make my best, nastiest pitch in 2-strike counts, and I come out of my delivery. I can think of some changeups that I left over the heart of the plate, and it's just about executing better. Yeah, but it's easier said than done. I mean, hey, he'll just stop throwing it over the plate with 2 strikes. Bada boom, bada bing, right? It's not as easy as it sounds, but it's something that the staff has to get better at, or they're going to continue to have these problems. They got to do something, and they got to figure it out quick, because the numbers that these guys are putting up there in the starting rotation are absolutely gross. These are going to make you want to vomit. So if you have like one of those vomit bags or a trash can near you, I suggest bringing it over, because these are gross. The Cardinals team RA is now 10th worst in the league at 4.70. The starters have the 5th worst ERA in the league at 5.66. The main culprits in this rotation are Steven Matz, who you saw last night, 0-3, with a 6.55 ERA now. Tonight's starter is Mikolas, who has the 2nd worst ERA in baseball for qualified starters at 8.10, and has given up the most hits in the league at 36 in just 20 innings pitched. Blech. Disgusting. Hard to win when that's what you're putting out there. And Jake Woodford, who had a very good game his last time out, his numbers disgusting too, because his first couple of starts, they were bad. But Miles Mikolas has got to get things going. He was better his last time out, remember? He was better. He's gotten better each time. Let's hope that continues tonight. We're going to talk about that game here in just a moment. I love video games. I love baseball. You combine the two, I'm going to love that game. And Ultimate Baseball GM combines your dream of being a Major League GM with the fun and enjoyment of a video game. At one point or another, you've thought you can do a better job than a lot of GMs in baseball, and you'll get a chance to prove that. You'll be in charge of managing every strategic aspect of your team. You'll play through the season and lead your team to glory, or you go down in flames and you get fired. We'll see what happens to you first. Hiring the right coaches and staff, obviously, that's a big deal. You got to worry about the finances. Pretty important. Got to be able to pay everybody. Scouting and drafting, dealing with personalities, free agency, slumps, streaks, everything that goes on in a regular season, you're in charge of. And it's all in a challenging and realistic game world. It's completely free. It's playable offline, so you can play it in the car, on the plane, on the subway, the Metrolink, wherever it is that you want to play, in the bathroom, wherever you want to tinker around at. Locked On Cardinals listeners, you're getting a 100% free boost to your franchise when you use the promo Locked On in the game store. That's all caps, by the way. Locked On. So make sure to check it out. You can download the game. Just visit probaseballgm.com. You can scan the code below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can look it up on the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. The Cardinals at T-Mobile Park in Seattle again tonight as the team tries to get back in that win column. You can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. After the offensive struggles last night, you hate to see another team's ace coming at you the following day, but that's exactly what the Cardinals have in store for them tonight with former Cincinnati Red Luis Castillo, who will be on the mound tonight. He's been pretty good this year. 2-0. In 4 starts, ZRA is at 0.73, which I believe trails only Shohei Ohtani in all of baseball. Actually, he might be ahead. I don't know. He was right there. He was first in all of baseball for a minute, but I think he slipped behind Ohtani after Ohtani's last outing. But he's only allowed 2 runs and 11 hits over 24 and 2/3 innings so far this year. Really, really good. The positive side of things here, which I always like to encourage to think positive, but the Cardinals in their career are 8-6 against him with 17 home runs, which is the highest total that Castillo has given up against any team. So yes, I'm saying there's a chance, but so far this year, Castillo lights out. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. I'm not going to bet the ranch that the team scores a lot of runs tonight. Okay, it shouldn't be a high scoring affair by any means for the Cardinals, especially after watching them get shut out over the final 7 innings in last night's game. But some of the Cardinals hitters have had some decent success against him. Now, at the time of this, they have not released the lineup for tonight, so I don't know who's in and who's out, but Wilson Contreras is hitting .471 off Castillo in 17 at-bats with a dinger and 4 RBIs. Nolan Arenado, who the team really needs to get going again. He needs to start producing because we had that hole in the number 5 spot for a couple of games with Contreras doing 0 for 22 stuff. And now you got Arenado at cleanup, and he's not hitting. But over his career, hitting .333 against Castillo in 24 at-bats. Paul Goldschmidt has taken Castillo deep 3 times in his career. O'Neill has dialed long distance on him twice. Dylan Carlson, swinging from the left side, hitting .350 with a bomb and 4 ribbies and 20 at-bats against Castillo in his career. So they've had some success against him. So for the Mariners, they haven't seen a lot of Miles Mikolas over the years, but I will tell you this, beware of another former Red in the lineup tonight. Eugenio Suarez is hitting .545 off of Miles Mikolas in his career with 2 home runs, and that's in just 11 at-bats. So he's had Mikolas's number over the years. Keep it down to Eugenio Suarez, man. Again, don't get that guy hot. But the rest of the team hasn't done much against Miles over the years. But you see those numbers against Castillo. You see what Mikolas can do. He's been better in his last couple of starts. Once again, I'm telling you, there's a chance. Yeah! Dumb and Dumber, for those of you who don't know. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Everydayers, Mariners, who apparently have a home run trident that they celebrate with now, which is fantastic. That's who the Cardinals are going up against. I wonder if the Cardinals will get something like that. I don't know. Well, what would you suggest? Leave a note in the comments down below. Pepper grinder. I saw that huge one that Lars Nootbaar received from the staff over at Bally's. Ginormous, kind of looked like a bedpost instead of a pepper grinder. But I don't know if you got a suggestion. Anything to get this team going, we'll do. So let me know down below. Catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast tonight and tomorrow against Seattle with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Cardinals. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Follow us on YouTube. And remember, despite what the record says, you are the best fans in baseball for a reason. And I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Enjoy the game tonight.